Okay, so you have done your previous pages, working through with the words, answering the questions, and this is the promised video about taking you through the vocabulary in context. So when we say something is in context, we mean that it is taken from the text, basically. Okay? Just like when you use context clues, you use the text around the word to try to figure it out. The first thing you want to do is look through the words up here, this word bank, the words that you're going to use as you fill in the blanks on this side, okay? So we have ruddy, ominous, resolute, congenial, melancholy, morose, impropriety, indignantly, palpable, and facetious. Okay, so you can look back at your dictionary um, list of the words that we color coded with the parts of speech. Kind of give yourself a reminder. Number one, when Scrooge left his office that fateful Christmas Eve, he took his blank dinner in his usual blank tavern. All right, so the same word fits in both. So you're going to want an adjective because it is describing, both of these words are describing first the dinner and then the tavern. Okay, and we had some words that were similar. We had, let's see, melancholy was almost like dismal. That's not an option on this side though. And then morose. Okay, so in a really bad mood, you can't really describe dinner as in a bad mood or surly or sulky dinner. Okay, but melancholy, which is down here at the bottom, gloomy, a prolonged state of sadness or depression, dismal, glum, um, that fits better when describing the dinner and the tavern. So melancholy for number one. Number two, to Scrooge, the word liberality was blank, for he knew it meant the gentleman visiting his office intended to ask him to make a charitable donation. So our clue here is that an indication something unpleasant is coming. And the word liberality was blank. So it's going to be describing the word. So you need one of your adjectives that means something unpleasant is coming. And I'm sure you can figure that out. Number three, Scrooge was being blank when he suggested the poor who would rather die than go to a workhouse should just go ahead and do it and decrease the surplus population. So you need an adjective about using humor inappropriately. Look for an adjective with that. Number four, Scrooge's nephew asked his rich uncle why he was so blank with the idea of being merry at Christmas. So why was he so, you need some sort of adjective there. Some sort of adjective, ill-humored. Number five, outside Scrooge's counting house, a cold fog came rolling in, creating blank brown air that obscured vision and made buildings appear as phantoms. So some sort of brown air, so we need an adjective, and it needs to mean clearly visible. Number six, his handsome face blank from rapid walking in the fog and frost. Scrooge's nephew entered his uncle's counting house and wished him a Merry Christmas. So what would describe his face having a reddish color? Number seven, when Scrooge's nephew insisted that keeping Christmas had done him good, though he had not profited from it, Bob Cratchit applauded involuntarily, but immediately realized his blank, poked his fire, and extinguished the last frail spark. So his something that means blunder, okay? something that means blunder. So a noun, something that means doing something wrong, or maybe rude too. Number 8, Scrooge's nephew was sorry that his uncle was so blank in his refusal to join him and his family for Christmas dinner. So it's going to be an adjective describing, his uncle, which is Scrooge, and it's going to mean stubborn and unyielding. Okay, so an adjective that means stubborn and unyielding. 9. If I could work my will, said Scrooge blankly. So it's describing how he said it, so you're looking for one of your adverbs. Every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. That's kind of harsh. Number 10. The young caroller who tried to serenade Scrooge fled into the fog and frost, which was more blank than Scrooge and his threatening ruler. So you're looking for an adjective that means pleasant. Okay, now on the back side of that page, you have a new set of words to use: ferocious, specter, ponderous, incessant, enshrouded, caustic, incredulous, resounded, phenomenon, benevolence. So again, look at your word list and your color coding, get a sense of the parts of speech. Number 1, even with Marley's transparent image standing before him, Scrooge remained blank, fighting what his senses were telling him. So you need an adjective that describes Scrooge, and it needs to mean skeptical. Okay, so he's unsure about this. Number 2, unlocking his door, Scrooge saw that the knocker had transformed into Marley's face, which was neither angry nor blank, but looked at Scrooge as Marley used to look, with ghostly spectacles turned up on its ghostly forehead. So you need an adjective that means frightful. Number 3, as Scrooge looked fixedly at the blank of a door knocker transformed into the face of his long-dead partner, it was a knocker again. So you need a noun here because at the blank is a prepositional phrase. And remember, in a prepositional phrase, the last word is the noun, the object of the preposition. So you need a noun that means strange sight. Number 4, the blank ghost, that means ghost, that had been Jacob Marley raised a cry and shook his chain and wrung his shadowy hands, bemoaning his foul life that had condemned him to a torturous existence after death. So you need a noun here because you need the subject of the sentence, and you need a noun that means ghost. Not seeing Marley's pigtail sticking out in the hall as he half expected, Scrooge slammed the door behind him, and the sound, now we need a verb here, a verb that means echoed, through the house like thunder. "Business!" cried the ghost. "Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and blank were all my business." So you see here we have a list of nouns: charity, mercy, forbearance, and we need a noun here that means compassion. Number 7, Marley's ghost warned Scrooge that the chain he was forging was blank, having reached the weight and length of the one he bore 7 Christmases ago. So we need an adjective here that means massive. Okay, an adjective that means massive. "How now?" said Scrooge, blank and cold as ever. "What do you want with me?" So we have blank and cold. So we know that this is describing Scrooge. So we need an adjective here that means arrogant. Number 9. Marley had been 7 years dead, but instead of rest and peace, his spirit had been subjected to the blank torture of remorse. So even though this says to the blank, we're not looking for a noun here because it says to the some sort of torture and then the next prepositional phrase of remorse. So we need an adjective in here that describes torture. So we need an adjective that means never ending. Finally, number 10. Looking at the phantoms wandering through the streets, Scrooge could not tell if the wretched creatures faded into mist or if the mist blanked them. Okay, so you need a verb here, what the mist would be doing, and it means concealed or covered. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. It's not that long to help you go through these. And hopefully you have a good sense of the words so we can start reading tomorrow. Or actually on today's Saturday, so on Monday. Okay, bye-bye.